Charismatic Renewal is a grace of the Holy Spirit that flowed out in the aftermath of the Second Vatican Council. Of course, there's been many moves of the Holy Spirit in the whole history of the Church, but in 1967, the Holy Spirit fell in power on a group of university students who were gathered for a retreat in Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania. And that was the beginnings of a whole move of the Spirit that has spread throughout the world. Today, there are more than 120 million people who would claim they've had a life-changing experience of the power of the Holy Spirit through being in contact with the Catholic Charismatic Renewal. So it's very much a grace of the Spirit flowing throughout the entire world and affecting many areas of the Church. The Church has to categorise different moves in different ways. So from the ecclesial point of view, we in the Charismatic Renewal are known as one of the ecclesial movements in the Church, and we come under the responsibility of the Pontifical Council for the laity. However, the Charismatic Renewal is not a movement in the same way as some of the other movements. For example, we don't have an earthly founder. I suppose our founder is the Holy Spirit. We don't have close membership lists. We're not a cohesive movement in the same way as many of the other ecclesial movements, but we're rather a move of the Holy Spirit, and that tends to have a natural fluidity about things. I believe at the heart of the renewal is the Holy Spirit, and so in a sense the renewal is for everybody. I believe that the grace of the Charismatic Renewal has touched people's lives who have never encountered the renewal in any formal way. So I think that's part of being a move of the Spirit that doesn't have closed edges, that everybody can be touched by the Holy Spirit. Many people can receive what we would call the baptism in the Holy Spirit, but they might never have heard of Catholic Charismatic Renewal. So it's a move of the Spirit that goes beyond our human construction. The Pentecost event that we read about in Acts chapter 2, we often refer to as the birth of the Church, because it was the time when the apostles, anointed by the Holy Spirit, went out of the upper room and they started to move in evangelization. And so when we speak about the new Pentecost, we're speaking about today, in our particular situations, moving in the power of the Holy Spirit and making a difference in the world in which we live. I think that there's a connection between the new Pentecost and the new evangelization, because one leads to the other. When the Holy Spirit came upon the disciples in the upper room, they didn't stay there. The Holy Spirit always leads you out beyond where you are. So the new evangelization is really Spirit-led, Spirit-empowered evangelization. And as St. John Paul II said, it's new in its zeal, it's new in its methods, it's new in its expression. And that can only happen through a new Pentecost, through a new touch of the Holy Spirit.